Hey brick fans, welcome to the Brick Bakery, where all our jokes are half baked and most our bricks are medium rare. Today it's time for another Let's Build, and we're looking at the 5938 Oasis Ambush, which is a set from 1998 that consists of 63 parts and 3 minifigs. The Oasis Ambush is a set that's in the Adventures theme, which is a theme that I covered previously here on my channel when I built the Bi-Wing Baron, which included the wonderful villain, Mr. Sam Sinister. But without further ado, let's get into this little desert build. And first of all, there is the manual, where we see a lot of action going on here on the front, with a mummy guy chasing the villain and our hero trying to get into the tomb. And it's the tomb that's the sort of central build in this little set. If you take a look at the back, there are a couple of alternate builds, and I actually kind of like this. It reminds me of some of the pirate sets, but this one is just an alternate take on the tomb, which is pretty cool too. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. Well, this is definitely one of the most classic Lego accessories or plants, I believe. Even though the leaves are a little smaller in this particular one than the regular one, I still think this is very, very cool and a very, very nice feature that was very prominent in the sets from the 90s. I'm actually not sure if the Lego Palm is still being used in sets like this. I don't think I've seen it for quite some time, but sets from back then, sets from the 90s, had a lot of them. That is pretty cool. So yeah. And this is actually pretty interesting, because this is one of the first times I think we are beginning to see some of these guidelines, these red studs here, are actually indicating where this black one should go, and that's actually pretty practical. I don't think we've seen that previously before this 1998 set, so that's actually pretty neat and pretty useful too, I must say. Oop. Well, these four here are actually wrong. They're wrong. They're not the right. They should be 1x6s and not 2x6s. But let me fix that. Yep, there we go. Fixed. And finished! This is the 5938 Oasis Ambush. It consists of this tomb, this palm, and these two minifigs, and a minifig mummy that's inside this tomb. First of all, let's take a look at the main build, which is this tomb right here. I think these side panels are pretty great, and I like how they capture some of the stereotypical Egyptian hieroglyphs, and also managed to integrate a minifigure right here. Looking at the front, we see this printed panel right here. And what I find interesting about that one is how effectively it tells a story, and a story that's a warning about not opening this tomb or you might die. Quickly turning it this way, we see that there's the same panel here, only mirrored as on the other side. And the back, we see this chain that goes into the tomb. On the top, there's this statue, which is a depiction of Anubis, which is the Egyptian death god from the ancient Egyptian mythology. And this indicates clearly that it's a tomb. What's very interesting about this statue is that this body is actually a chest that has gold in it. But the main feature of this build is undoubtedly the play feature, which is this little secret function here that opens up the lid of the tomb like this. But As the printed panel on the front told us, it's not without danger to open up a tomb like this. And of course, a mummy appears. A mummy appears. Let's go. Mummy appears. And if we take a look at this side build, it's just one of these regular Lego palms that was very, very common in the 1990s. However, this is a smaller version that I've usually seen. And here are the two minifigures. This is Lord Sam Sinister, aka Baron von Baron, Sam Sinister, Evil Eye, and Mr. Hates. This guy here is Johnny Thunder, also known as Sam Grant or Joe Freeman. What's interesting about Lord Sam Sinister here is that his faceprint is decidedly different than from the faceprint he had in the Bi-Wing Baron build. In fact, his whole attire is quite different with his black top hat and his black suit. And he also carries this gun here that reminds me a lot of the classic Playmobil guns. On the other side there is Johnny Thunder. Johnny Thunder is the hero type character in the Adventurers team. And he does have a kind of Indiana Jones-esque aura about him. What I really enjoy is his faceprint, which might be one of the most self-confident faceprints I ever saw. And lastly, there's this map print on this little tile, which is quite cool, but I'm pretty sure it's the same print as we saw in the Bi-Wing Baron. So that was the 5938 Oasis Ambush, which is proof, I think, that it wasn't just bad sets coming out of the 90s. This one I like, I have to admit, because of that play function and because of the printing on that little front tile. That is impressively detailed, that's for sure. What's really, really interesting about this particular set is the German version of the set, because the German version contained a cassette tape. I don't know what was on that cassette tape, but maybe you know. I imagine it's a story or some music or something like that, but I have no idea. And if you know, please let me know in the comments below, because I would love to hear what that was all about. But that's all from me today. I hope you'll comment, like, and subscribe, and I hope I'll see you guys next Monday. All right. Yeah.